everybody, and Happy New Year! Welcome back to the Twitter Files. I hope you are having a healthy and happy New Year so far. And for the first release of Twitter Files for the new year, it's from one of our favorites, Matt Taibbi. If you don't know who he is, you should, and you should be following him on Twitter. I'm going to list his name below in the description. This is not going to be about COVID, just fair warning. It's going to be more about the overall government collusion and just, you know, the black hole of information that Matt has to go over. He's just giving us some more info that he found. So, with that said, let's get into it, shall we? Here we go. The Twitter Files, how Twitter let the intelligence community in. In August 2017, when Facebook decided to suspend 300 accounts with suspected Russian origin, Twitter wasn't worried. Its leaders were sure they didn't have a Russia problem. We did not see a big correlation, no larger patterns. Facebook may take action on hundreds of accounts, and we may take action on 25. Keep the focus on Facebook. Twitter was so sure they had no Russia problem. Execs agreed the best PR strategy was to say nothing on record and quietly hurl reporters at Facebook. Twitter is not the focus of inquiry into Russian election meddling right now. The spotlight is on Facebook, wrote Public Policy VP Colin Crowell. In September 2017, after a cursory review, Twitter informed the Senate it suspended 22 possible Russian accounts and 179 others with possible links to those accounts, amid a larger set of roughly 2,700 suspects manually examined. Receiving these meager results, a furious Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, ranking Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, held an immediate press conference to denounce Twitter's report as frankly inadequate on every level. #irony, mused Crowell the day after Warner's presser after receiving an e-circular from Warner's re-election campaign asking for $5 or whatever you can spare. LOL, replied General Counsel Sean Eggett. Keep producing material. After meeting with congressional leaders, Crowell wrote, Warner has political incentive to keep this issue at top of the news, maintain pressure on us and rest of the industry to keep producing material for them. Taking their cues from Hillary Clinton. Crowell added Dems were taking cues from Hillary Clinton, who that week said, it's time for Twitter to stop dragging its heels and live up to the fact that its platform is being used as a tool for cyber warfare. In growing anxiety over its PR problems, Twitter formed a Russia task force to proactively self-investigate. The Russia task force started mainly with data shared from counterparts at Facebook, centered around accounts supposedly tied to Russia's Internet Research Agency. But the search for Russian perfidy was dud. October 13, 2017. No evidence of a coordinated approach. All of the accounts found seem to be lone wolf type activity. Different timing, spend, targeting. Less than $10K in ad spend. October 18, 2017. First round of Russia investigation. 15 high-risk accounts, 3 of which have connections with Russia, although 2 are RT. October 20, 2017. Built new version of the model that is lower precision but higher recall, which allows to catch more items. We aren't seeing sustainability, more suspicious accounts. We expect to find approximately 20 with a small amount of spend. October 23, 2017. Finished with investigation. 2,500 full manual account reviews. We think this is exhaustive. 32 suspicious accounts, and only 17 of those are connected with Russia. Only 2 of those have significant spend, one of which is Russia Today. Remaining is less than 10,000 in spend. Twitter's search, finding only 2 significant accounts, one of which is Russia Today, was based on the same data that later inspired panic headlines like Russian influence reached 126 million through Facebook alone. The failure of the Russia task force to produce material worsened the company's PR crisis. In the weeks after Warner's presser, a torrent of stories sourced to the Intel Committee poured into the news, an example being Politico's October 13, Twitter deleted data potentially crucial to Russia probes. Another headline, were Twitter a contractor for the FSB? They could not have built a more effective disinformation platform, Johns Hopkins professor and Intel Committee expert Thomas Rid told Politico. As Congress threatened costly legislation, Twitter was subject to more bad press fueled by the committees. The company changed its tune about the smallness of its Russia problem. Crowell wrote to the Twitter team, "Hi guys, just passing along for awareness the write-up here from the Wash Post today on potential legislation or new FEC regulations that may affect our political advertising." In Washington, weeks after the first briefing, Twitter leaders were told by Senate staff that Senator Warner feels like tech industry was in denial for months, added an Intel staffer. Big interest in political article about deleted accounts. Twitter, quote, pledged to work with them on their desire to legislate. Knowing that our ads policy and product changes are an effort to anticipate congressional oversight, I wanted to share some relevant highlights of the legislation Senators Warner, Klobuchar, and McCain will be introducing, wrote Policy Director Carlos Mangi soon after. The committees appear to have leaked. Even as Twitter prepared to change its ads policy and remove RT and Sputnik to placate Washington, Congress turned the heat up more, apparently leaking the larger base list of 2,700 accounts. Reporters from all over started to call Twitter about Russia links. BuzzFeed, working with the University of Sheffield, claimed to find a, quote, new network on Twitter that had, quote, close connections to Russian-linked bot accounts. Twitter, internally, did not want to endorse the BuzzFeed Sheffield findings, saying, quote, it will only embolden them. Quote, Senate Intel Committee is asking, possible to whip something together? Still, when the BuzzFeed piece came out, the Senate asked for a, quote, write-up of what happened. Twitter was soon apologizing for the same accounts they'd initially told the Senate were not a problem. Quote, reporters now know this is a model that works. This cycle threatened legislation wedded to scare headlines pushed by congressional and intel sources, followed by Twitter caving to moderation asks, would later be formalized in partnerships with federal law enforcement. Twitter soon settled on its future posture. In public, it removed content, quote, at our sole discretion. Privately, they would, quote, offboard anything that, quote, identified by the U.S. intelligence community as a state-sponsored entity conducting cyber operations. Twitter let the USIC into its moderation process. It would not leave. Wrote Crowell in an email to the company's leaders, we will not be reverting to the status quo. And that, folks, is the end to this Twitter Files drop. But guess what? There's more. Matt blessed us with 2 Twitter files drops today. So I will be getting into the next one in the next video here real shortly. So please, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I appreciate all my, as of this video, I believe I have 14 subscribers and I love every one of you. I am one of them. Yes, I have subscribed to my own channel. I mean, if you can't support yourself, what are you doing? But anyways, I digress. So what have we learned from these Twitter files today? In a nutshell, we have learned that among the pressure from government agencies that Twitter was getting about moderating all kinds of things and visibility censoring, aka shadow banning, blah, 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 Twitter was also getting all kinds of pressure from political parties, this Warren senator dude from Virginia, to find in particular Russian collusion, Russian interference, and when they came back after looking through all those 2,700 accounts that they were given, they went through all of them manually and said, hey, we only found like 5, and 2 of them were the main Russian news channel. They got kickback and pressure again saying, well, Facebook found more. How come you didn't find more? So all of these outside people were pressuring Twitter employees to find something that really wasn't there and really wasn't that big of a problem. And that, folks, is where you have a problem for you and me and everybody else in the public that is just reading these headlines about what's going on. Facebook found all this Russian collusion, Twitter found all this Russian collusion, yada, 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 and whoever benefits from it being spun, the narrative being spun in their favor or whatever way they want to manipulate things, you know, they're manipulating things and they're manipulating us. And it's not cool. It's really not cool. But the thing that is cool, and to put a little positive note on the end of this one, is we do have journalists like Matt Taibbi and Schellenberger that still just are pure-hearted journalists that just want to get down to the bottom of the truth of things, that aren't swayed one way or the other way, that literally just want to report the truth. So we can definitely be appreciative for people like that, and people like Elon Musk, who said enough's enough. We need to have free speech, and we need to know what kind of manipulation has been going on behind the scenes. And like he said, sunlight is the best disinfectant. So we are finally seeing the truth, guys, and finally seeing the light. And with that, I will see you in the next Twitter files. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.